welcome to section C, exercise 24. Now in this one we're going to look at metaphor and simile again. I'm going to really simplify the metaphor this time. I'm not going to use a quote or something that has been used in a literary sense in a particular book. This is one probably used at school, one that everyone recognises, and it's the metaphor of snow being used as a blanket of snow. The snow was a blanket of snow. Metaphor, the snow was a blanket. The simile, the snow was like a blanket. So that's what I'm going to be using. I just wanted to show that it doesn't have to be like really clever or really intellectual. It can be something really simple, and it's just how you interpret it. It might be a phrase that you see and you think, oh my God, I could paint that like that. Just take it and do it. It's as simple as that. I'm going to be using a photograph that I took last year out on a dog walk, because obviously we haven't got much snow around in the beginning of November. So it's an old photograph, and I'm going to be using the photograph and my imagination. So it is just going to be a reference for trees, the forms of trees and colours and things, but then as it comes down into the blanket, I am going to change it and make it into the blanket. What I'm trying to get across is the softness and the fluffiness and the way a blanket lies and the way snow lies and the crossovers between the two. So I'm not trying to do a picture of snow, I'm trying to paint the snow on the crossover of being a blanket, so it will be recognisable as both. That's what I'm trying to do. It'll be more obvious when you see the painting. These things always are. So yeah, it's a really simple idea for the landscape, metaphor and simile in a landscape. I'm not going to try and do anything more than that. So with that, we'll get on with the planning sheet. Right, section C, exercise 24, planning sheet. The metaphor we're going to use is a blanket of snow. And all its connotations. What I'm trying to get across, the statement I'm going to try and get across is, so the communication is the fluffiness and softness and covering, comparing snow to a blanket. And the exploration to do this, I'm going to be exploring colour, texture and concept of the snow being a blanket. So the subject, it's a photo from a dog walk, and the snow slowly becomes a blanket at the front of the picture, in the foreground. Simple as that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do some little sketches just to get in my head the form that the blanket is going to take. I'll probably mess around with some paints as well, just to see what how I can describe it using the paints. Right, I'll get on with that. See you in a bit. And here we have the final painting, a blanket of snow. They're just real simple metaphor that we've always used. We've heard it used in right from primary school. Snow was like a blanket of snow, all that sort of thing. And I've just taken it completely literally to make this painting. So I was looking at the colours. I really like the colours in the photograph, but the statement was, the communication was, look, this is what it looks like when you have a real blanket of snow. More a bit of a touch of humour in there more than anything, which sometimes I like to throw in. So that's the end of metaphors and similes now, as far as this course goes. There's hundreds and hundreds that you could go to, even making up your own, if that's the sort of thing you like to do. In exercise 25, which is the next 3 group of a figure, still life and a landscape, we're going to take that literary device of metaphors and similes and expand it a little bit into imagery. Metaphors and similes are part of imagery, so it's still the same grouping, but when you're looking at imagery as a whole, what you're trying to do is appeal to all the senses. So without going into it too much until the next exercise, that's what we're going to be looking at next in exercise 25. So thank you very much for doing this one, and I'll see you soon. Bye.